So there's this game called Highguard that just had a trailer released, and people are calling it like Concord 2.0 or the new Concord. You can see this take from Paul Tassi saying, Highguard currently sitting at a golden 1 to 10 Concord dislike ratio on YouTube. Hard to understate how tired people are of new live hero shooters. The craziest thing was to think you should close the show with this, however. Really quick, let's talk about Paul Tassi though. This is a man who rated Dragon Age the Veilguard 8.5 out of 10. He is absolutely, in my opinion at least, one of those corrupt, compromised corpo journalists. And the Veilguard thing's just one example, but Paul Tassi's been doing stuff like this for a while. My point is, he's also one of the sort of people that never wanted to admit that part of the reason why Concord failed was also because it was filled with DI slop. Like, yes, I can agree that it came out in a saturated genre, and the price point didn't help it. But bro will never admit that the character roster, which is one of the most important things in a hero shooter, was also just DI slop with Concord. You know, these sort of people, man, they never want to face the facts. Now, as for this new hero shooter that's coming up, Highguard, that we're talking about for the main topic of this video, we've actually got some of the Concord team working on this one. Genius. For example, over here on their official website for the dev team, Wildlight, they talk about their team, and they've got Jessica Grant, who had worked on Concord and some other games there, and someone else. Where's the other person? Daniel Luna, who had also worked on Concord. Yeah, great people to bring on, that's for sure. You know, recipe for massive success right there. And it looks like Highguard's coming out in a mere, oh, what the frick, the graphic changed. When I was clicking record, it said 44 days. Hold up, let me just refresh the page. Okay. Days until launch, 44. 44 days. Mark your calendars, guys. That might be a fun one to keep track of. So I'll show you the official trailer for this game, Highguard, as well as like the first minute or so, which is Jeff Keighley hyping it up, which was another reason people are so critical of this game. They're like, really, all that hype for this? I don't watch the Game Awards, and I wasn't familiar with their like protocol, but apparently they normally share a giant important reveal for last. And this was their final reveal this year, so it's getting like extra mocked for that reason too. Like, real shill moment. They're really trying to present this thing as like the next big hero shooter, and I think the game looks really generic and mid. But you know, Concord was just so exceptional in so many ways, in a terrible ways, of course. And it's going to be hard to assess just how potentially bad this game is until we actually get like the official character roster, which as of recording has not yet been released. Because as we just discussed, the character roster is one of the most important things for a hero shooter, and while we obviously can see some of the characters in the trailer, that's probably not all of them. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see once it's released. But for now, here is the trailer.
You know, sometimes our last reveal at the Game Awards is a teaser for something years and years away. But not tonight. Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game. They've done it in complete secrecy, which is even more amazing because the game is very deep into development. The power of independent, self-published studios to push this medium forward is a growing and I think positive theme in our industry. And so tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
Into lands uncharted and dangers untold. I venture without fear and ride without rest. For coin or for cause, I fight to the end.
Your light belongs to me.
Moving in for the attack.
Shield breaker forming. Blade out.
Strike fast. Siege tower coming in.
The enemy is on gates!
I'm coming for you!
Marking baddies from above.
It's my turn. I am the coming storm. I am a warden, and this is my oath.
Pretty crazy, that's right. Highguard launches in just 7 weeks on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. It is insanely fun to see, fun to play, as you saw in that trailer.
So yeah, definitely looks generic and mid in my opinion. And two of those characters also have that really boring, generic, modern audience sort of haircut that for some reason you'll see AAA devs just loving. They always love to use that one. That said, yeah, definitely not as bad as Concord though. And the memes calling it like Concord 2.0 are funny, especially because there's a few Concord devs working on this. But at the same time, when I see people like Paul Tassi saying this is just like Concord, like I don't trust that dude one bit. It seems like it's an attempt at like whitewashing how bad Concord was. And again, their deflection about the DI elements and how far Concord went down with those elements, I should say. Went with those elements. But yeah, anyways, moving on from that, there's also another layer to this as well. Because people are saying they're disappointed that from the creators of Titanfall that like they expected something like actually cool, especially after Jeff Keighley hyped it up. As someone who never played Titanfall and never really got into hero shooters at all, I can't really comment too much on this stuff because I'm really not familiar at all with it. But that's what I'm seeing people saying. I'm seeing people saying like they wanted a specific Titanfall thing. I forget if they were saying they wanted a sequel or something, but what they wanted was definitely not this, right? The only hero shooter I ever got into was Marvel Rivals, and I still really like that game a lot. But honestly, I haven't played it in like 3 months, bro. I've played like a handful of games in the last 3 months, simply because there are so many games that I'm playing right now, and I have like hundreds of hours in Rivals. I do like it, and I want to get back into it, but there's only so much time in a day. And I'm right in the middle of 2 different Total War 3 Warhammer campaigns, right in the middle of trying to get back into EU5 because we just had crazy patches for that. I still want to get back into Stellaris. I just picked up Octopath Traveler 0. I never played any of those games. And I know, like, apparently from the reviews, it's, like, mixed for Octopath Traveler 0. If any of you are playing that, by the way, let me know if you're liking it. It's the first Octopath, excuse me, it's the first Octopath Traveler game that I've played, but so far, I am enjoying it. What else? I think there's some other stuff I'm playing right now, too, but, like, I'm not trying to run through the whole list. Point is, you get the point, I think, only so much time. A lot of people are also talking about this tweet from one of the devs on Highguard over at Wildlight. He says, day one of being a game dev with a public-facing game, and I got 75-plus quote retweets personally ripping me apart simply for being excited to share what I poured myself into for years. Lock the account for the time being. I haven't seen the messages that he's referring to, so I don't know. Maybe he's really getting crazy harassment, or maybe it's just criticism. Now, we've seen different AAA devs. I'm not saying this dude's one of them, but we have seen other AAA devs get very mild criticism, and then they suddenly try to play victim, and they start talking crazy stuff about, like, the far-right chuds are sending hate and threats to me. And it's like, bro, that didn't even happen. You're just, like, making stuff up and sounding crazy. So, who knows? Make of it all what you will. So yeah, not a great outlook for this game so far, and it's set to release like mid-January. We'll see how it all goes, and I am keeping an eye out for that character roster if they release it beforehand. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a great week ahead, and I'll catch you in the next one.